Yo, what is good, Jets Nation? Welcome back to another Jets Media live stream. We are fresh out of the bye week. It was a good time to relax, take a step away. Not only for the players and the organization, but us as fans to really take a step back and watch football, not having to worry about the New York Jets. But hey, let me start off with this: the New York Jets had a really good bye week because what happened? The Dolphins lost, the Patriots lost, the Seahawks lost, and the Panthers lost. What else can you ask for as a Jets fan? We got, the first round pick of the Seattle Seahawks in our favor. The Panthers pick in our favor. They both lose. So that's a good thing for a draft position. And of course, our division rivals lose as well. So it's always a good time. I enjoyed my bye week. It was a good time, take a step back, take a breather, really dissect what the hell happened with this New York Jets team. And Jack and I are really excited to get into today's stream. We're going to be grading each individual position group. We're going to get into 3 stars and 3 flops of the first 5 games. And there's just going to be so much that Jack and I are going to get into, and Ali might be joining us later on in the stream. So, Jack, how did you handle the bye week, and how did you really experience it? What was your bye week like, man?
It was great, man. As you said, we won the bye week. Everybody that we needed to lose lost, and Jamal Adams he could be a bad player at this point. It's like not even like he's like just a meme anymore. He might be categorized as a truly bad player. I don't know. But it was great for us Jets fans, and yeah, man, I got to catch some football with you, and it was fun, man. So always a nice little relaxation break from the stress of watching the Jets play, for sure.
Yes, sir. And now we're here. We're previewing the Jets Patriots game. They're headed to Foxborough, fresh out of the bye. We have to verse Bill Belichick and Mac Jones once again. We all know what happened during the home opener. Jack and I were there to experience it firsthand. But man, what a way to come out of the bye week going up against this team again. This is gonna be the first time the Jets go up against a division rival for the second time. They know what to expect because they already went through there. But hey, it's Bill Belichick and it's the New England Patriots. So we're gonna get into that later on in the stream. In the beginning of the stream, we're really going to talk about what we saw from that, the New York Jets in the first 5 games. How can we assess it? What are we going to grade these players? Who look really good? Who did not look good? What needs to change? What are some adjustments that needs to happen, in the coaching staff in particular? So, shout out to everybody in the chat. Hope you guys had a great bye week. Make sure you guys smash that like button if you guys are not already. We're going to be live for an hour. And Ali will be joining halfway through. So with that being said, before we get into the grades, Jack, I just want to talk about, in particular, what do you want to see from the Jets coaching staff to make adjustments, both offensively and defensively? So obviously the offensive side of the ball, we struggle the most in the first quarter. We really do not get off the hot starts, and that really, puts us behind the 8 ball. We do not get into rhythm, and then that really, puts us behind early, and the defense is on the field a bunch of times. They get gassed, and the offense is, playing catch-up for the rest of the game. Even that Tennessee Titans game that we won, it was a tight game all the way through. We started off slow. We finally caught fire late. So offensively, that's been the issue. Consistency obviously is an issue, but the first quarter has been the biggest thing where Jets fans are like, okay, we really need to fix that, because if you don't get off the hot starts, it's hard to really, dig yourself out of a hole. And then defensively, I feel like we played very good football all the way up until that Atlanta Falcons game. I think obviously that was our worst game of the season so far. We did not get to the quarterback. We just had no answer for Matt Ryan and Kyle Pitts. So there are some things that needs to be cleaned up. So what is your thoughts about the coaching staff in particular, schematically, that you want to see a big difference and what they should have improved on throughout the bye week and what we should expect going on for the rest of the season?
Yeah, man, I think you hit the nail right on the head there at the beginning of what you were saying. I think the slow starts is what really has been killing us. And obviously, that's kind of a blanket statement right there because, obviously, they are, everybody tries to at least script the first drive of the game, so they are going into, I'm not sitting here saying that they're not going into these games with any sort of game plan. It just, hasn't worked out for whatever reason for, the execution on the field. But coaching is obviously a factor in that as well. So I expect to really see a jolt out of Michael Floor. I hope so. Because he's been sketchy to say the least to start the year. So I think that, if we can get some energy into this offense early in the game, if we don't have to wait till the second half to see life in this offense, it's just going to go a long way to keeping us in football games and, hopefully winning some more football games down the stretch this season. But I think the slow starts offensively has really been holding us back. I think the defense honestly has been great. We obviously, didn't play our best ball against the Falcons in London. But I can't really blame them for that because they're not going to have a perfect season, and everybody's due for a bad game at any time. So they had their bad game, but the fact is that they've been keeping us afloat, even though we're not really winning games. They've been keeping us excited to watch next week, and they've been the heart and soul of this team. So I really am not upset with the defense for how they played. In London. Obviously, it's going to happen here and there, but I expect them to bounce back this week against New England and have a good game. But I just, I expect this to really bear down on this offense. I think that it's not a stretch to say that the offense was probably the heavy focus of this bye week, as it should be, man, because the defense has been playing great and the offense has just been totally lifeless and just inconsistent. So, LaFleur's got to pick it up. Robert Saleh's got to pick it up because he's not the defensive coordinator. He's our head coach. So, Robert Saleh's got to play his part and rejuvenate this offense. And we got to eliminate the slow starts. We can't, wait till the second half to put points on the board. That's just not a winning formula. And, yeah, man. So I think that they have a lot of work to do on the offensive side of the ball. I think the defense is just going to get better, honestly. We got Jared Davis going to be coming back. So I just think the defense is great and going to be getting better. Obviously, not perfect, but the offense is the clear worry right now, and I hope the offense was the clear focus during the bye week.
Yeah, the offense is definitely what's been holding this team back. If we've had consistent offense scoring around 21, 22 points per game, I don't think we're 1-4 based on how our defense has been played this year. So I think the coaching staff really needed to dive deep into what's going on with this offense more than the defense. Not to say that there's a lot of things that needs to be worked on the defensive side of the ball, but they've been playing way better on that side of the ball. So when it comes to the offense, for me, schematically and coaching standpoint, you just got to really take advantage of our playmakers and get them in rhythm early and get call plays for your explosive playmakers that we brought into this team, like Elijah Moore, like Denzel Mims. Like Corey Davis. I feel like they're doing a great job with Corey Davis right now. But how can we get our other playmakers involved? How can we establish a run game? Because I feel like this offensive line has been very good so far in terms of protecting the quarterback. Obviously, the first couple games was rough in terms of pass protection. But ever since then, the protection has been very good on Zach Wilson. The offensive line has looked very good on that front. But the offensive line has not been consistent in terms of the run game. And I feel like that's going to evolve over time. And we really need to establish that run game and ground and pound and get Michael Carter the ball and get him the ball in space and get him involved in terms of the pass game as well. I feel like that's a really big component of this offense that we're missing. And also it just comes on to Zach Wilson because he's the X factor of this offense. Without Zach Wilson clicking, the offense is not going to go. And he's been a turnover machine. He leads the league with 9 interceptions. Only one more than Patrick Mahomes. Just had to say that. But, yeah, I think it starts with Zach Wilson, cleaning up the mistakes, playing smart football, not overthinking, not overcomplicating things, hitting the right throw, hitting the easy throws, because that's obviously the big thing about Zach Wilson right now is he has the talent to make those crazy 60-yard bombs off platform backyard football. Like the talent's there. But, he's overcomplicating the easy stuff and the fundamentals and the mechanics when easy, throws where you're like any NFL quarterback can make those throws. So, I feel like Zach Wilson's his development is kind of backwards. And I feel like that's and I hate to compare it to this player, but even Bills fans, like I know a lot of Buffalo Bills fans, follow my channel. And when I gave my assessment on Zach Wilson, a lot of Bills fans said, "Hey, Richie, you sound exactly like Bills fans during Josh Allen's rookie year." Because what Josh Allen did as a rookie was he would have a glimpse of the crazy, cannon of an arm that he had where he would throw a ball and people would be like, whoa. And then Josh Allen as a rookie would be, turnover machine, do idiotic things, look bad, miss easy throws after easy throws. Like Josh Allen as a rookie would miss I don't know if you guys remember, but same thing with Zach, like 10-yard out route wide open. He would sail it over his head, Josh Allen. He would miss the quick throws. And Josh Allen had developed backwards. Like he had that explosive talent, that explosive arm down the field, but they had to really get him, the short intermediate passes to take that next step. And then that's what, Josh Allen became so good at. Obviously, he had a lot of other things working in his favor, but connecting Josh Allen to Zach Wilson, that's what Zach needs to work on. The quick, easy reads, staying in the pocket. There's a guy open, timing's there. And that's not going to happen right away. As a rookie, he's going to take a lot of time. I feel like Another big reason why Josh Allen became such a good quarterback is continuity. He went into year number 3 with the system. Not to say that, we have to wait for year number 3 for Zach Wilson to thrive. Everyone's timetable is different, but continuity is a really big factor. This is year number 1 in the system. Not only Zach Wilson's first year in the system, but it's Mike LaFleur's first year ever coaching the system. It's the first year for everybody in this team to be implementing this. It's Zach Wilson deserves a lot of blame for the Jets' offensive struggles, but it's a team effort as well. The wide receivers, the O-line, the running backs, the tight ends, they all need to be a collective unit. Mike LaFleur deserves a ton of blame, but at the same time, you can tell that the players are not executing the plays. And then at the same time, who do you blame right there? Is it the coaches because they're not executing properly? Is it the players not listening to the coaches? That's what happens when you have a young offense trying to instill this complex style that they're trying to run. The outside zone, West Coast scheme that's so, beautiful and so, successful around the NFL, like Sean McVay's system and all these teams. You see it be successful because they've been doing it for a while. It's experienced systems. This is a first-year system. So that's what I've noticed in particular, that you can just tell that it's very new, that the players are trying to understand. They're trying to get comfortable in it, and continuity is going to be a really big thing. And if I'm being honest, I'm expecting this offense to gradually get better and better each game throughout the rest of the season. I think there's still going to be games where they look really bad. There's going to be games where they look really good. But when it comes to like week and I don't want to put a timetable on this. It can happen way earlier, but the way I'm looking at it is, by week 10, week 11, week 12, around that range, I feel like this offense is going to start to click, and then everything's going to start really unfolding, because I feel like this is a system that is going to get better over time with reps and people understanding. And that's really my thoughts about this offense. Do you have anything really to add about what your expectations are for the offense?
I think that we can be more aggressive, but at the same time, I feel like maybe the aggression has been kind of what's killing us. I mean, I just don't know. It's really hard to gauge, because if you look at the successful big plays that we've had this year, they're all, Zach Wilson improvising, doing his thing and making it happen himself. None of them have really been scheduled plays, maybe besides the sideline grab to Keelan Cole. That was probably Zach Wilson's best throw of the year, honestly.
Yeah, and that was all Zach.
That was amazing. But in terms of the offense, I feel like it's just so hard to gauge, because part of me obviously wants to see these incredible plays, these over the top big plays, and that's what they're trying to make happen. But at the same time, I want the game to slow down for Zach, and I want it to be easier for Zach. So if we can, establish the run game finally. I mean, it pains me that we're saying this, 5 games into the year. But if we can get the run game going, where defenses actually need to respect our running attack, and we can give Zach an extra half second on a play action, because that's all it takes for somebody to be open, man, is a linebacker taking a half a second to defend the potential run, and being a half second late to whatever route is already breaking for Zach to dump it off to.
That's another thing.
Exactly. So the run game feeds this entire offense, and we truly need to establish that. But other than that, man, I think you hit the nail right on the head, and there's really not much more we can say about this offense.
You brought up the play action. I think that is something I forgot to mention in particular. I think that's the biggest issue right now with this Jets offense, is the play action is the entire offense. And we're so bad at play action right now, because number one, play action doesn't work if you don't have a run game, like you just said. The defenses are not going to be threatened by it at all. So when the play action happens, the defense are not being sucked in, because even if it is a handoff, they have confidence that they can stop it. That's what happens when you don't have a run game. The play action just is trash. And if you look at the stats, we're really bad at play action. Like, most of Zach Wilson's interceptions are coming from play action passes. And you can also tell that the fundamentals with Zach Wilson and the running back and the offensive line, they're not really good at selling the play action. Like, I noticed Zach Wilson doesn't really, he pulls the ball a little too early on the play actions where he's not selling it. You see the great veteran quarterbacks out there, and, not every rookie is going to be able to be that good at play action right out of the gate. That's something that every young quarterback evolves throughout time. But you see guys like Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady, they have the ball literally in the running back's stomach, and then they pull it last minute. Like, if you watch Zach's tape, you see him like faking it, and then he brings it back before it even is a yard away from the running back. And that's just the little subtle things that makes this system so beautiful. Like, if you watch the Sean McVay play action bootlegs, it's a thing of beauty. And we just have to realize it's very young, and the play action is the heart and soul of this offense. And right now it's not succeeding because number one, the run game's not working. And number two, they're not executing the play action properly. So that's something that I had to bring up because you brought up the play action. And I think that's a really big thing that we have to realize why the struggles are so almighty right now. So shout out to everybody in the chat right now. I see you guys, Jets gang.
What up? What up?
Go Bills. I see you, delusional Jets fan. John, what's good, man? Welcome in. We're gonna start off a segment where we're gonna give a letter grade for every single position group for the Jets throughout the first 5 games. This is gonna be a lot of fun. Jack and I have our own grades, so we're gonna go one by one. And you guys in the chat, please interact with us. We're gonna go by each position, and you give a letter grade. It can be A+, A-, A, B+, B-, that type of stuff. What's good, Tommy? Welcome into the stream, my man. Hope you're having a great night or a great evening, whatever time it is. So starting off with this position, the most important position on the team, and that's the quarterback spot. So everybody, obviously, this is the only position group where there's one person playing position, and that's the quarterback. So it's Zach Wilson's letter grade. I had to give him in particular. This is my letter grade, and I think Jack has the same one.
Yep, we do have the same one for this one.
Yeah, so our quarterback letter grade is a C. You know, there's no sugarcoating this. Zach Wilson has been very bad this year. The only good game he's had is the game that we won against the Tennessee Titans. We've seen flashes. We've seen really good flashes and glimpses of good potential, but his inconsistency is why it's all the way at a C. He's had way worse, like way more bad than way more good, if that makes sense. You know, if it wasn't for that Tennessee Titans game, like say he didn't do anything that game and we lost and we're 0-5 right now, like then it would be lower than a C. But that's why I gave him a C, because he did win us a game. People forget that. And that's the one thing I really need to like remind Jets fans real quick. When you're thinking of Zach Wilson as a rookie, he's been, you know, very bad. He has 9 interceptions, 4 touchdowns. There's no sugarcoating that at all. But you cannot forget the fact that he did win Rookie of the Week and he did lead the Jets to a victory. Like, don't let that just delete from your memory, because that's a pretty big thing, because that obviously it's 1 out of 5 games and the ratio is not there. But that right there is a glimpse of what Zach Wilson's potential is if everything starts to click, not only in his brain, but around him. So anything you want to say about your quarterback letter grade? Because Jack and I both have a C.
Yeah, it's just, you know, just very mediocre to bad play, honestly. It's just, you know, a C is honestly could even be generous for Zach, because he's only really had 1 good game. And that good game, like, we're still waiting for a lights out, like, bona fide good game. Like, he's yet to have a 300-yard game. I know that game was very close. It was like 297 yards. But I'm waiting for the 3-tutty, 0 interception, 350-yard performance. Like, who deserves it more than us, man? Like, we haven't had anything like that in so freaking long. I'm just waiting for it. So, you know, 4 bad games. I would say 3 bad games, 1 sketchy game week 1, and then 1, you know, good game. So I think C could even be a little generous for Zach, but it's Zach. It's our rookie quarterback, so we're going to give him a C.
Yeah, I agree. So the next position group we're going to do is this one right here. Do you want to give your letter grade first? The running backs?
Yeah, I think, what did I give the running backs? Running backs, I gave a C+. I think we differed on this one, but not by much. I gave a C+. What did you give?
Jack gave the running backs a C+. I gave a B-. So
yeah, so
I'll let you go first.
The reason for the C+ is you know, I like what I've seen from Michael Carter. I think he has a little bit of explosiveness to him. But, you know, at the end of the day, we just can't establish any sort of rushing attack. And, you know, that's a group effort. Obviously, it starts with the guys up front. It starts with the play calling. But, you know, at the end of the day, these running backs are the ones with the ball in their hands. And it's been a long time since we've had anybody break like more than like even like a 20-yard run, 25-yard run. I think the last time we saw that was when Isaiah Crowell wiped his butt with the football in Cleveland I think he ran for like 200 yards that day. What a crazy game that was. But yeah, C plus I think is pretty fair for these running backs. We haven't really seen anything crazy out of them, but I want to go a little bit higher than a C just because Michael Carter does look like he has a little bit of juice in him.
Yeah, I agree. I think the reason why I have a B minus is just because of the flashes that I've seen from Michael Carter, where I genuinely believe that if we give him the ball in space consistently and we can block for this man and we scheme up some like good passing games for him, he's going to be a really good player for the Jets. That's the reason why B minus is less of the production. It's more of like what Michael Carter could be if everything clicks. Because remember, this is the running back position. We're not talking about offensive line right now. So it's more like how's the running back sitting their holes? How are they, doing their jobs in order to what's presented to them? Because I think running back, we can all agree, is a position in this league where it's way more dependent on the men up front than yourselves. And obviously the great running backs, you need to be able to hit the holes. You need to be able to have good vision, good feet, good balance, and all that stuff. But I've just been very impressed with what I've seen from Michael Carter, especially as a rookie. His ability to make people miss in the open field, his balance, his footwork, his blocking ability as well. He has some penalties, but there are some times where he buys Zach Wilson a couple extra seconds. That's very vital in today's NFL to have a blocking back. So Michael Carter is definitely the reason why I have a B minus, more than his potential than his production. I think his production is going to go up and up throughout the season, and I got high hopes for him. Ty Johnson, he's been a little disappointing for me personally. I had a little high expectations for him going into the season, but it's clear that Mike Carter is the better back. And then Tevin Coleman's just that veteran, and that's really the only running backs that we got. So that's really the running backs. The next position group is the offensive line. So I'll start off with the offensive line and give my grade for them. My letter grade for the offensive line is a B. Standard B. The only reason why it's a B right now, and some people think it might be a too high up. The only reason why I have it as a B is simply because of the pass protection in these past couple of weeks has been so good to the point where we don't even realize it. Like Zach Wilson's not getting touched, and we don't really, appreciate it because Zach's not playing well. So we're like, we can't blame the O-line now because Zach's not playing poorly. You know what I mean? The way that this Jets offensive line has connected since week one and how they've evolved week to week in terms of their pass protection has been so good. There's been one outlier on this offensive line, and we think we all know who his name is, Greg Van Roten. He's been the really bad player. Connor McGovern has been graded very good lately, like in pass protection. He's been one of the better centers in the NFL, top 5 in certain categories. We all know what Elijah Vera Tucker is doing. Morgan Moses, a George fan, has been very solid tackles. So the pass game, it's a B for me. The run game needs to improve for sure. I think that they really need to establish a run game more in particular. So the reason why mine is a B is simply because of their ability to protect Zach in the past couple of weeks. It's a really good testament of the coaching staff. So what was your letter grade for the O-line, Jack?
Yeah, I had mine at a B minus, and I agree with everything you said. I think that, they've come a long way since week one, especially with Mekhi Becton going down, and the pass protection has been great. Zach hasn't been, getting harassed back there as much as he was in the first, couple games of the season. The first week of the season in particular. But the reason why I went with a B minus is just like you said, the lack of production from the run game. I think that's where we're really missing Mekhi Becton. And Elijah Vera Tucker has been playing so great that it really is driving me crazy that Becton's not out there next to him, because I think that's when this running game can really come to life and just explode before all of our eyes. So I went down to a B minus because I think we just need to improve from a run blocking standpoint. We need to start blowing some holes wide open. And obviously that has to do with, scheme and play design and play call as well. But, I think they've clearly been better in pass protection than in run blocking, which is actually kind of the opposite trend that we've, from what we've seen in Jets offensive lines in the past. So it's definitely nice to see that our pass protection has improved. But we need to get Becton back out there as soon as possible and start moving some people around. And Michael Carter is going to break a couple up the sideline.
Love that. So the next position, Jack and I have the same letter grade. And this is the lowest grade of the bunch.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. So the next position is the tight ends. Before we reveal ours, anybody have their letter grade that they would like to put for our tight ends in the chat? Jack and I agreed. We have the same exact letter grade on this one. All right. Delusional Jets fan is an F. Kobe is F minus. Z, F. All right. People are predicting ours because ours is indeed an F. So my thoughts about the tight ends, it's an F. It is terrible.
Yeah.
I told Jack off stream that we need to draft 2 tight ends in this draft class, and we need to sign one. We need to bring in the offseason at least 3 tight ends, because if you see what the Jets are doing personnel-wise, offensively, obviously we us as Jets fans can't stand seeing Ryan Griffin and Tyler Kroft and all these guys getting all these targets and stuff. But this system requires multiple tight ends. Just like you have 5 deep wide receivers of a committee approach, you have 3 running backs committee approach. The tight ends in the system, it's a committee approach, and right now we just don't have talent. So if I'm the Jets, the offseason, I am bringing in not 1, not 2, but 3 new tight ends this offseason, because we need dynamic guys in this system in order to really, unlock it. Because if you look at the dynamic offense around the league, they all have weapons, and the more weapons, the better. So it's an F. Ryan Griffin, Tyler Kroft, they've been nothing more than just useless.
I totally agree, man. There's not much I can say to piggyback off that. It's just a lack of talent, and honestly, a lack of maybe, I don't know. Can we put this on Joe Douglas potentially? Because it's not like nobody saw this coming. Like, we knew this was going to be awful. Like from the time last season ended, and when we saw that we made no moves in free agency towards tight ends, we're like, wow, this is going to be the shittiest unit on this team. Besides the cornerbacks, which we thought at the time were going to be the worst unit of the team, but now they're playing lights out, so that's a blessing. But the tight ends have made us true believers. They need to seriously reevaluate. So
and my thoughts of like the Joe Douglas thing is, just because this Jets team was so bad last year, you can't really prioritize every single position in one offseason. So before I blame Douglas for the tight end group, I'm going to give him this offseason, because this is the offseason where you need, and I've said it over and over again, we need to prioritize this position, because Douglas has prioritized the offensive line, he's prioritized weapons, he's prioritized wide receivers, running backs, obviously a new quarterback, defensive players, and we need a lot of new players on this team last year, because we're coming off 2-14, new coaching system, and obviously the tight ends were like the last priority for them this year. So this offseason, that cannot be the case. They need to really get young. They need to get future pieces. They need to get established veterans that can help out Zach immediately. So that's my thoughts of the tight end position. I know Green Bean would be proud. Oh my God, that's so weird. Green Bean's actually watching. That was weird.
Let's go. What up, Green Bean?
That was strange. I literally just said in my head, I know Green Bean would appreciate this tight end talk, and then I look up at the screen, I see him in the chat. That was really, really weird. Shout out to Green Bean. Love having you here, man. So yeah, that's my Jack and I's thoughts on the tight end group. So the wide receivers. You want to give your letter grade first?
Yes. The wide receivers, I gave a C-, and pretty upsetting, man. Just for the fact that, and this is all tricky to get into, because we all know it's a group effort. It's a team sport. And not just the guys on the field, the guys on the sideline coaching and calling plays. It's a group effort to win games. But the wide receivers in particular, between the drops and the lack of separation, and just the total lack of any sort of life that we have on offense, I got to give the wide receivers a C-, man. Corey Davis has even though he is our leading receiver, he's he could be our leading receiver by much more if he had been doing his job all year, and being that wide receiver 1 that we paid him wide receiver 1 type money to be. So he's kind of been a disappointment, although like I said, he is he's not playing terribly when you look at the stats overall, but when you watch individual games, you're like, oh man, Corey, you got to catch that, man. You got to do your job. So I think a C- is a pretty fair assessment. Elijah Moore, who is he? Who is this guy? We've seen nothing out of Elijah Moore, so just pretty lackluster from where we thought we were going to be. I still think our our talent, and our depth at receivers is, fantastic. And I really do believe in all of these guys as individual players, but the execution has just been lacking. So C- for me.
Good assessment. We have pretty similar grades on this one. My letter grade for the wide receivers is a C. I like what I saw from Corey Davis. Inconsistency for sure. He has a lot of drops that he wish he had back, but the production that he has shown, he has how many touchdowns? Three, 3 touchdowns. And he's reliable in terms of, you can tell that he has a good chemistry with Zach, which is important. The timing is there. That's something that we don't really see with Zach Wilson with guys like Elijah Moore yet, is the timing. I like what I've seen from Jamison Crowder in only 2 games. The first game he was very good for the Jets, and Zach Wilson. Keelan Cole, he's flashed as well. When Denzel Mims gets his opportunity, he's averaging around like 25 yards per reception. And Elijah Moore, like you said, we're just not giving him the ball. So I think you said it perfectly. I don't think this is a talent issue. I think it's a lack of execution. We're dropping the ball. We're not running the right routes. We're not helping out our quarterback. We're not getting open downfield for Zach, because there was a lot of times last game where I saw Zach Wilson eating a cheeseburger behind the line of scrimmage, dropping back the pass, 7 seconds in the pocket, and Zach doesn't throw the ball because that means there's no one open downfield. So that goes on them and the route running and them not being able to get open for our rookie quarterback. So it's very unfortunate on that front of things. So my grade's definitely a C, but I'm expecting them to definitely get better and better. I think the talent is there. I think it's going to click. I believe in these guys. I think just the letter grade C is based on the production rather than potential. I feel like Elijah Moore is still the key to this offense becoming explosive, because I believe that he is a guy that can really unlock this offense if we use him properly. And that starts with LaFleur getting him the ball, because I saw another stat against the Falcons. Elijah Moore was getting open all game long. Like, there's some people that go out there, watch film, and there's like Elijah Moore's open on pretty much every single play. And I don't know if that's Zach Wilson not getting the ball. I don't know if that's Mike LaFleur not scheming it for him. I don't know what the issue is, but that needs to change. And I think Elijah Moore, it needs to be involved in this offense way more in detail. So we got a nice donation from V-Man. What's good, V-Man? V-Man pulled up in my Knicks media stream earlier. Send me a donation. He pulls up to the Jets. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. Jets bigot. You want to read this, Jack? Because I got to actually change my camera.
Absolutely. Jets' biggest advantage is the Patriots' inconsistency. 1 week they play competent, next week they look completely lost, and considering their Week 6 performance, they're due for a clunker in Week 7. So yeah, I agree with V-Man on that one. Obviously I think this is going to be a very tough challenge for us going into Foxborough to beat Bill Belichick and the Patriots. But if you look at what the Patriots have done this year, they're a 2-win team, and their 2 wins have come against us and the Houston Texans by 3 points. So, they're really not a very good team if you just get down to the facts. So I think that, they are absolutely inconsistent, as you said. And, this could be a surprising outcome to this game. I don't want to jinx anything, but this is anyone's game, man. It's a division game coming up. So I totally agree with you, V-Man. And we appreciate the donation.
Yeah, appreciate the donation for sure, man. And my quick thoughts about the Jets-Patriots game is, I said this after the home opener, but I love the way the Jets played against the Patriots outside of the fact of Zach turning the ball over 4 times. Obviously, that's a really big reason, and that's the main reason we lost that game. But defensively, love what I saw. Outside of that one, Damon Harris play that we just couldn't tackle. That was our best game of the year in run game. We had 150 yards on the ground, and we played good defense. So that game's more on Zach Wilson. And if Zach can clean that up, if we can get 150 yards on the ground and he plays turnover-free football, I like our chances. So hopefully we can really watch the film. We can establish a run game early in this game again. Michael Carter can get involved, and Zach needs to protect the football and, stay ahead of the chains. That's another thing, man. You got to be able to, get the first downs on those third downs, keep long drives, like stay on the field, basically, offensively. Don't go 3 and out. That's been a problem. We haven't really been able, and that's hard to establish a rhythm offensively if you're off the field so much. And that's the thing that I keep noticing when the coaching keeps talking about it is like, it's hard to open up the playbook if you can't, you don't have enough plays to be run. And obviously, you can't run a lot of plays if you can't pick up first down. So it all comes down to just keeping up drives, sustainable, and that opens up the playbook. And we really need to get into rhythm in terms of staying on the field because that's been a big issue so far, and that's obvious. So
And
now,
I just want to say one more thing real quick.
of course,
This could be, and I know we've said this for every week now, but if they have put any sort of game plan in place that replicates what we've been saying tonight, how Elijah, how you were just saying how Elijah Moore's always open, but LaFleur's got to find a way to get him the ball. Zach Wilson's got to find a way to get him the ball. The Patriots, although we were absolutely torched by them earlier in the year, they are 100% a man coverage football team. So Elijah Moore will be out there getting separation. So this could definitely be a breakout game for Elijah Moore. Again, I know we've said that every week so far, but I just want to put that out there that after the bye week, maybe they got their heads out of their asses and said, hey, we got to get this guy the ball. This could definitely be the week that it happens. So I just wanted to put that out there.
Yeah. And, it's not going to show up in the stat sheet, but that pass interference call that Elijah Moore called against the Falcons, that was big. I mean, that set up a touchdown. Zach threw the ball down the field into the end zone. Elijah Moore showed off his speed. It's a threat. And there's two people on him, and he drew a pass interference, which gave us first and goal at the 1 yard line. Obviously prefer to that be a touchdown, but what are you going to do? That's really good. That means the goal is to take the top off the defense. And I'm just waiting. It's going to happen, guys. Elijah Moore is going to have a bomb. Like Zach Wilson's going to throw a bomb to Elijah Moore for a touchdown for 50 plus yards this season. It's going to happen next week. I don't know, but it's going to happen. And I genuinely believe that. Make sure you guys smash that like button if you guys enjoyed. If you guys are enjoying the stream, we got 20 likes, around 63 people watching. We're about to get into the defensive side of the ball in terms of position grades. So if you guys are enjoying, please don't forget to smash that like button. I greatly appreciate you guys. So getting back into the position grades, we're going to talk about the CB position cornerback room. So my letter grade for this, I switched it a little bit. Like I want to do it, man. Can't do it.
Yeah, you could switch up, man. I was considering a switch up. You could switch up on the fly. I have no problem with that.
No, I was considering putting this, but now I'm not going to do that. Mine is an A. Honestly, contemplating higher than that, but
nah, don't do the plus. You can't do the plus. No.
Can't do a plus. The only reason why I have the Jets as an A for cornerbacks is I want every single Jets fan to go back to training camp and listen to what we were all saying about the cornerback room. And then look at the production and what we've done. They've exceeded beyond expectations. Like everybody's expectations for the Jets corners, all right, we're young. We cut Bless Austin, Bryce Hall, year number 2. Can he be a starter? We will find out. Michael Carter II, Javelin Guidry are our slot guys. That's a 5th-round pick and an undrafted guy last year. I don't know. And then, Brandon Echols at the cornerback number 2 spot on the outside. Is he going to be solid? He's a 6th-round pick. Isaiah Dunn, undrafted. All these no-names. And they've exceeded expectations, beyond. Bryce Hall is playing one of the best corners in the NFL right now. Michael Carter II is establishing himself as a real NFL player. Javelin Guidry is establishing himself as another really good NFL player. And Brandon Echols, he hasn't been so good. He hasn't been so bad. He's been out there making plays, and he hasn't really been drawing any penalties. He hasn't been doing anything poorly. So basically, the reason why I'm giving the cornerback room such a high letter grade is because of Bryce Hall, number 1. I think that he really is establishing himself as a top corner, an ascending young corner in the NFL. He's up there statistically with all the top guys. He's one of 4 cornerbacks in the NFL to not give up 1 reception in the red zone. That's pretty insane. He's there with Tre'Davious White and a lot of other young ascending cornerbacks. So Bryce Hall is a big reason why. And if you got to, if the one thing I would like to see the cornerbacks do, and Bryce Hall almost had a couple, is, take the ball away. Let's see some interceptions. Let's see some ball hawking action, setting up the Jets offense. But, I love what I'm seeing from the Jets cornerbacks. And the reason why they're so high on my eyes is because the sole fact of them exceeding everybody's expectations, because we have to realize what we thought of this unit going into the year and what what their production has been. So what's your assessment on the corners?
I agree, man. I'm going to go with an A, and I see a lot of people in the chat going lower than us, some B pluses, a couple C's, some B's. But I think for the reason you said as well, man, think about what we expected from this group. As I said, a couple moments ago in the stream when we were talking about the tight ends, we all knew for a fact going into this year that our cornerbacks were going to suck and our tight ends were going to suck. And the tight ends haven't disappointed us. But the cornerbacks, man, are playing absolutely lights out. As you said, Bryce Hall is, making his way into becoming one of the top young cornerbacks in football. And, he's a 5th-round draft pick, man. None of these guys, some of these guys are undrafted. None of these guys were taken before the 4th round. Just the play that we're getting out of these cornerbacks is awesome. It's just, it really is just absolutely
That's something
awesome.
you got to give Joe Douglas credit for, because all
Yeah.
these cornerbacks are from him, and they're all 5th round or later.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
something. And the coaches, for sure, to give them that.
And I like Michael Carter II. I like Javelin Guidry, as you said. I think Brandon Eccles has been playing pretty good. I think he shows potential to be really good. And I think that these cornerbacks are very well coached, man. I think this defense is well coached as a unit. But it just shows that this is a very well coached unit. The fact how young they are, and just how inexperienced as a whole this secondary is. Hats off to the defensive coaching staff for sure. And I think A is truly a fair grade for these guys, man.
Now, getting into the next position group, we're going to be talking about the safeties. So here's my letter grade for the safeties. I'm giving them a C plus. Obviously we've had a lot of injuries. Our 2 starting safeties are out. LaMarcus Joyner out for the year. Marcus May out for extended period of time. He could be back this week. He could be traded soon. All those rumors are happening. And then we have guys like Ashton Davis getting playing time finally. Niesman, all these guys, they've been playing solid. They have not been like as bad as I expected in terms of the injuries. Like all these guys that are stepping in, like they've been playing solid football. They're definitely not perfect at all, which is why they have a C plus. There's some missed tackles out there, but the best thing about the safeties, in my opinion, is they're not getting beat deep. The only play that we got beat deep so far this year was week 1. That Robbie Anderson touchdown. That was Celdrick Redwine, and he's on the practice squad. He's not even playing right now. So based on the coverage, I like what I've seen from the safeties. Based on tackling and asserting themselves and making impactful plays, they're definitely not there. But what do you expect? We're lack of talent right now. It's kind of like a safety by committee. We have 4 guys rotating in. I'm hoping that Ashton Davis can really assert himself. He's played, I think, 2 games so far, and he's looked pretty, like he hasn't been doing anything where we're like, wow, Ashton Davis, that was a big play. Or he hasn't been doing anything where like, oh, Ashton Davis not looking good. Like if we're not talking about a safety, usually a good thing, because that means they're not doing, something poorly where they're drawing penalties or getting beat. They're doing idiotic plays. So hopefully Ashton Davis can really establish himself and be a starting safety for the rest of the year, simply because of all the injuries. It's a really good opportunity for him to shine. But my grade is definitely a C plus. So what's yours on the safeties?
Yeah, I think we had the same one. I also went with the C plus for the safeties, and for the exact same reasons, man. I think that, obviously we're depleted in this area. LaMarcus Joyner is a guy that we brought in this offseason, and we expected, obviously not, elite play out of him, but he was a very solid veteran that was going to be here coaching these young guys up and just, being a productive member of this defense. He's gone. I don't think we'll see Marcus May play another game in a Jets uniform. That's just, I think, where we're at. So yeah, we're down our top 2 safeties. And guys like Niesman are kind of, thrown into the fire, and they're not playing terribly. They're not playing great. It's kind of what you expected, So I think C plus is pretty fair for these guys. We don't have a Jamal Adams on this defense anymore, so we're not, we're not spoiled anymore with a blitzing safety that can line up in the box, and those days are done. And although, Jamal is playing like shit over in Seattle, so that's fantastic, but he was a great player for us. So those days are done. So I just think we have to keep our expectations for this safety group kind of in check compared to what we've been used to. I mean, even last year, if you look at, I know last year was a horrible, horrible year for us, but Marcus May played his best football as a Jet last year. So even last year, we were kind of spoiled a little bit with really good safety play. So I think this year it's just kind of, getting, back in check and realizing that, I'm glad you brought up a guy like Ashton Davis, because he's a guy that obviously, we're all hopeful for. He's another Joe Douglas draft pick, but, we still have our questions about him, as we should, because he hasn't really shown much consistency at all, in terms of even being able to get onto the field. And then when he's on the field, he's not really showing flashes of greatness. But like you said, if you're not talking about a defensive back, it's more or less a good thing. So I think C plus is where we're at right now. And obviously it could improve as the year goes on, but I think the cornerbacks are the real star of this secondary. It goes without saying.
For sure, man. For sure. I agree. Next position group is going to be the linebackers. This is my letter grade B plus for the linebackers. I feel like they've exceeded the expectations, in my opinion. Our starting linebacker has been injured all season long, Jared Davis, and he should be back, if not this week, next week. But listen, based on the expectations, listen, we have CJ Mosley coming in. First time he's healthy, first time he's in shape in terms of actually playing football for the New York Jets. And then our starting safety alongside of him, Jared Davis, goes down. We claim Quincy Williams off the waivers, and Quincy Williams is having an insane impact for a guy that gets waived. I think that this might be a bold take, and Jack and I were talking about this off stream, but I think CJ Mosley is the most important piece to this entire defense. You can argue it could be the Quinton Williams, it can be the defensive line, but CJ Mosley is the heart and soul of this entire defense in terms of play calling, leadership, keeping everybody in check, the vocal guy, making sure everyone's in their right spots, checking the plays. I mean, we all know what happened against the Titans where he literally checked it from man to zone to force a coverage sack. Like CJ Mosley is the entire defense. And if he goes down, it'll be a really big issue. He not only is he the brains of the defense, but he's playing at a high level, man. He is all over the place. You can look at the PFF grade and say that he's not doing anything, but that does not do it justice. He's flying all over the ball. He's making impacts. He's sacking the quarterback. He's, thumping people to the line of scrimmage, tackles for loss, and then not to mention Quincy Williams. You can just tell that this linebacker unit is very well coached. Robert Saleh comes from a linebacker coaching tree. He was the linebackers coach for Jacksonville, so that's his position group. You can tell that this linebackers have a different mindset in terms of the scheme that they play compared to previous Jet schemes, like the 3-4 scheme, for example, with Todd Bowles and Greg Williams. It was a completely different role that these linebackers have than what we have right now with the 4-3 base. And I love what I'm seeing from them, man. Jamian Sherwood, he's been playing pretty good football as of late. He got injured week 1, and then he missed a game or two, and then he's coming back. He's making some plays. I think he helped force the fumble on one play. He was on that second fumble against the Falcons. CJ Mosley forced the fumble. Quincy Williams has a sack. I feel like they're definitely looking good. The one guy, that we haven't really said a lot of things about this year so far, and he's on the IR right now, is Hamza Nasruddin. I think he's someone that, he hasn't really made a big impact yet, and he's injured right now, so hopefully he can get back on the field. But I'm excited to see what Jared Davis can do because he's someone that was supposed to be, a really big piece to this defense, and hopefully he's healthy. So mine is definitely B+. How about you, Jack?
Yeah, similar. I think I have mine. Let me just double check. I'm pretty sure mine is a B. Yeah, I had mine at a B. And I love and agree with everything you just said. I think they've been playing great. But the reason that I have them at a B and not a B+ is I think that we've just been getting torched way too much over the middle. And that really comes down to what our linebackers are able to do from a coverage standpoint. If you look what happened against the Falcons, Matt Ryan was just able to just unload everything under 3 seconds over the middle of the field. And it was just an easy completion every time. So I feel like while these guys are definitely playing great, I love what I'm seeing from CJ Mosley and Quincy Williams, of course, as a whole. I feel like we could definitely improve in certain areas, and B is still a very high grade. So I definitely love what I'm seeing from these guys. I just think that, especially playing a team like the New England Patriots coming up with Mac Jones, the 5-yard in the air pass king, the king of the check down. We need to have our linebackers lock down the middle of the field. Otherwise, these guys are going to be marching down the field and having long drives on us, and our guys are going to be gassed. So I think that we need to improve with our coverage over the middle of the field. But I love what I'm seeing from these guys. The intensity of Quincy Williams, the leadership and knowledge of CJ Mosley. He's just a quarterback on the defense. And so, yeah, I think B is where I'm at with these guys. I'd like to see them improve in their coverage game a little bit.
Facts. Yeah, that's definitely something to improve on is the coverage over the middle. We definitely got carved up as the Falcons. And CJ Mosley took accountability, which you love to hear from a captain like him. He knows that it starts with him when we struggle like that. The last position on defense is defensive line. What you want to start off with your letter grade on that?
The defensive line, I gave a B+. And I absolutely love what I've seen out of this defensive line this year. I just wish that we can get those sack numbers up a little bit more consistent. Going from a 7-sack performance against a playoff caliber team like the Titans to not being able to bring down Matt Ryan and the Atlanta Falcons even just one time. It kind of sucked, man. But like we've been saying this whole past week, I kind of attribute that game more to the play of Matt Ryan than anything else. And obviously this defensive line is another group that's dealt with some injury adversity as well. What up, JOB? Shout out to me and Richie's buddy JOB. But B+ for this defensive line. Obviously, we all love what we're seeing from them. But I think that we can get these sack numbers up, man. While they're not horrible, I think we can get the sack numbers up. The pressures and the QB hits are great, but we got to start, bringing these quarterbacks down and forcing, second and long, third and long situations like that. Because the pressure's there, but more times than not, the quarterback's able to get the ball out. So if we can just tweak it, I don't know. I guess we really are missing Carl Lawson more than we knew. But at the end of the day, B+ is a fantastic grade. These guys are playing great. Quinnen Williams, JFM, Foley Fatukasi, Bryce Huff. Liking what I'm seeing from these young men this year. But I think we can get these sack numbers up a little bit.
Yeah, I have to agree with your letter grade for sure. I think B+ is very good because of the consistency factor. We know the potential of these guys. We saw it against the Tennessee Titans. We saw them take over games. We know that Joe Douglas and Robert Saleh, their whole mindset with this team, they're trying to build a foundation at the line of scrimmage. That's what they want to really start up front. They want to be a team that beats you in the trenches on both sides of the ball. And I think that we can agree the defensive line is the best position group on the entire team. I think this could have been an A-, but simply because of the inconsistency, I'm not going to give them that A letter grade. I think that if they can really start getting to the quarterback consistently at all times, like at least 3 to 4 sacks per game, like we're really going to unlock a really good foundation with this Jets defense. John Franklin Myers, I'm so happy he got extended. He deserves that money. He's going to be here long term. Quinnen Williams, he's the next man up that needs to get extended after this year because he's due for a rookie contract extension. Foley Fatukasi is a free agent. He needs to be extended. It's going to be interesting to see how Joe Douglas goes about that. But we just got men up front. We also have a great system in place for this D-line. Like, they're so well coached. The stunts, the twists, the delayed blitzes, the way they're attacking their one-on-ones, the way they're shedding off, going inside, outside. Like, it's just fundamentals at its finest. And you can tell that these Jets defensive linemen are just very well coached. And the scheme from Jeff Ulbrich and Robert Saleh is masterful. You can tell that this system is just perfect for these guys. Like the sack numbers might not be there for some players, but it's a little skewed because it really sack numbers with this system is very team oriented rather than individual sacks. Like, for example, Quinnen Williams has 3.5 sacks, and like a couple of those sacks could be, more John Franklin Myers because he's the one that ate up the double team and freed up Quinnen, and that's what's so good about this defensive line right now is we have a bunch of hitters, and I love what I'm seeing from them, and they deserves a lot of credit. I think Jets fans should be very excited about the future of this Jets defensive line. Locking up JFM was a big, big sign that the Jets have a long-term vision with this D-line. We're going to add more pieces in the offseason. They're only going to get better. And the biggest addition we're going to add to this defensive line next year is Carl Lawson coming back. And I'm really excited to see the return of Carl Lawson. Now, to finish off the letter grades, we're going to give our thoughts about the special teams unit. Because, guys, that's a phase of the ball that matters. Brant Boyer, he's been the Jets special teams coordinator through 3 coaching staffs with Todd Bowles, with Adam Gase, and now with Robert Saleh, and he deserves a lot of credit because I think that he's done a really good job with the special teams unit so far this year. My letter grade for the special teams is B+. I think our punt coverage has been spectacular. Justin Hardy's living up to the gunner mentality that we got, and we're like, oh my God, we got the best gunner in the league when we signed him, and he's definitely lived up to it, making a lot of plays. We saw Tevin Coleman return a really good 70-yard return on the kickoff return. Matt Amendola has been pretty good so far as a kicker. He's missed 1 extra point, I think. Outside of that, he's been perfect. And, Matt Amendola has been streaky, but he hasn't really got a lot of opportunities to kick the ball. And our kick coverage has been good. Special teams is such a little subtle thing where, teams like us don't really care about it. But if you look at the New England Patriots, even their fan base, they rave about special teams because of Bill Belichick. And one of the a Patriots YouTuber that was actually featured on my channel when we versed the Patriots. I'm probably going to have to hit him up, actually have him on the stream again since we're versing them. Dear Pats Nation, he said the one thing I noticed after watching a couple Jets game this year is he was raving about our Jets special teams in terms of the punt coverage. And Patriots fans, they love special teams. That's something that Jets fans don't really care about, but they love it because of Bill Belichick. And he was raving. He's like, yo, like, your guys are very well coached. Your punt coverage is spectacular. Definitely one of the better ones in the league. And I was like, wow, coming from a Patriots fan saying that means a lot. Like, those little things go a long way. I could have easily gave him an A-, honestly, because they've never really, or an A, because the special teams has not done anything poor. They just haven't really done anything explosive in terms of blocking a punt or returning a kick for a touchdown or anything on that realm. I think that's what really would have took it an upper echelon. Also, shout out to Thomas Morstead, because our starting punter got injured week number 1. We had to sign Thomas Morstead off the streets. He's the longtime punter for the Saints, and he's been great. He's been a great punter. Those are things that go a long way. We don't really care if it's a good punt because we don't want to be punting, but it's a good thing that we have a established veteran out there filling in for a young stud of Braden Mann. So what's your thoughts of your special teams grade?
You said it beautifully, bro. I'm actually going to bump him up. I'm going to give him an A because according to I was on a stream with our buddy Greenbean the other night, and he has a brilliant Jets fan from Virginia that comes on. They call him Y2K. And he comes on and he just hits you with straight numbers and straight statistics. And it's nice because, me and Greenbean are very emotional Jets fans, and we look at it more from a, ideological perspective. And then he comes on and just hits you with straight numbers. So it's nice. But he said, according to him, and this could have changed because obviously we were on a bye week and everybody else had a game this week. But I think we were the 7th best special teams unit in the league. Meanwhile, our defense is like 20th or 21st, and the offense is like 29th or something like that. So the special teams is a top 10 unit, close to a top 5 unit in the NFL. So that's, obviously it's not something that's in the forefront of our minds, but it's a phase of the game. It's a part of the game. So, any good thing, we're gonna harp on it, man. So special teams is an A, baby, an A.
An A. All right, guys. So we're going to get into one more segment before we finish off the stream. This one's going to be 3 stars and 3 flops of the season. Obviously, there's only 5 games. This is in terms of who are the 3 best players in our eyes so far in the first 5 games, and who are the 3 players that have not been so good. So starting off with you, Jack, do you want to list off your 3 flops?
Yes, I will start. So my first flop, and this is kind of iffy because I don't really know who to blame with this one, but definitely a flop just because, like, where the hell has this guy been? But unfortunately, it's Elijah Moore. We just can't find a way to get him the ball. Obviously, we see he's getting separation, so, it's not really all on Elijah Moore. But, the fact that we're going into our 6th game of the season, and this guy's supposed to be a crazy young weapon taking the league by storm, and we really haven't seen anything from him. Elijah Moore is definitely flop number 1. My second flop, and this is not a player, but doesn't necessarily have to be a player. My second flop, and I'm sure now that I said that, you guys might be able to guess, it is Mike LaFleur.
So mine.
A total lack of consistency. And it seems like every week he's got at least a couple of really just straight up bad decisions. Like, why was that play called? I keep going back to the fake on the fake to one side, and then Zach Wilson throw in a screen pass all the way across the goddamn field. That could have been a pick 6, but it ended up just being a tackle for a 5-yard loss or whatever it was. That play's got to be thrown in the trash. So I think Michael LaFleur has a lot to improve on. And he's a flop because we expected good things from him, and we haven't really seen any good things at all. And unfortunately, this brings me to my last flop, and it brings me no joy to say this, but we just got to keep it real with you guys, man. And that's Zach Wilson. I think we can kind of all agree with that. I mean, through 5 games, Zach Wilson has 1,117 yards. Not great. 4 touchdowns. Not great. 9 interceptions. Really, really, really bad. And a passer rating of 62.9. Pretty freaking bad. So, if you look outside of the, the one pretty solid performance he had in the Tennessee game, it was a good performance. It was better than solid. It was a good performance. It wasn't a great performance, but it was good. Zach has played very poorly, and obviously he's a rookie and he's got a long leash, and we all want to see him successful, and we want to see this team turn things around and win games. But, that rookie quarterback is obviously has to play a huge part in that, and he's just hasn't been playing well at all. So Zach Wilson is my third flop. So Elijah Moore, Mike LaFleur, and Zach Wilson, get it together, you three.
All right, those are Jack's flops. I'm gonna quickly fill in mine real quick. I think we have two of them that are similar, but hey, we agree a lot.
Yeah, man, it's all good.
All right, so here are my three. Hold on 1 second. Appreciate the patience. Greg Van Roten, Mike LaFleur, and Zach Wilson. So my reasoning behind this, Greg Van Roten has been the worst player on the team. He plays a crucial role in protecting Zach, and he's the biggest reason why Mekhi Becton's injured. He got destroyed on a play and got absolutely decapitated, which resulted in Mekhi Becton's knee to buckle and dislocate his knee. But outside of that one play, Greg Van Roten has just been atrocious. I don't think you guys need me to say anything else than that. The run game, the passing game is a liability. It's not like we expected him to take a big step, but it's definitely he's a liability, so he deserves to be on this list. And then Mike LaFleur, he's a flop just because the offense as a whole has been a mess, and it all starts with him. He needs to be held accountable. He does do that himself. He does stay whenever the offense is not clicking and not performing well. It starts with him rather than blaming his players. Adam Gase used to do that. And he deserves to be a flop because Mike LaFleur, without him really getting his stuff together in terms of making sure the players are executing the plays properly, making sure that our playmakers, they're doing their job, getting them the ball, feeding them the rock. The personnel decisions has been lackluster in my opinion. So Mike LaFleur is definitely a flop. And then Zach Wilson, he is, having a very bad start to his rookie season, 9 interceptions, leads the NFL, 4 touchdown passes, averages around, I think, 230 passing yards per game, which is not that bad. But, the turnovers is what's really poor, and his completion percentage is lackluster. He's missing the easy throws. And I think a lot of the losses has been on Zach Wilson. But hey, this is his rookie season. That's going to happen. Going into this season, I expected a lot of games to be lost because of our rookie quarterback. That's just the reality of the situation that we're in right now. And it's nothing I didn't expect. Definitely disappointed. I didn't expect it to be this bad. But hey, it's what happens when you have a rookie quarterback at times. You dig yourself into a hole and you match up a rookie quarterback with a rookie offensive play caller and all these young guys. The system is going to take a while to click, and hopefully Zach can really understand to get back to his fundamentals and, clean up his footwork and hit those easy throws and don't rely on that crazy arm talent that he has, even though that should be a thing because his talent is there. Like, that's the one thing about Zach, which I think Jets fans can all agree on, is there's no denying that he has ridiculous arm talent, the ability to make throws where your jaw is on to the ground. The question is, how does he really ground himself and know when to use that and when not to, and when to put touch on the ball, when to put zip on the ball, reading defenses. Like, there's so much more to the NFL game as playing the quarterback position than being that electrified offensive playmaker with the ball in your hand in terms of, off-schedule throws. So, the talent's there. The off-schedule platform throws is there, but he needs to clean up the easy throws before we can give him a star. So now getting into the stars, Jack, you want to give your 3 stars?
Absolutely, my man. Let's start. And by the way, all these 3 stars shouldn't be really surprising to anybody. All these 3 stars are defensive players because the defense has been playing really good football, man. So starting with Quinnen Williams.
I'm gonna list all 3 of them, so you can just give all 3 of them that you said.
All right, Quinnen Williams, Quincy Williams, and C.J. Mosley. So we got the Williams brothers and C.J. Mosley, man. I love it. So starting with Quinnen, 3.5 sacks, 8 quarterback hits. He leads the team in sacks, which is, it's just interesting when you watch Quinnen play. It's I guess it's just because he doesn't really come off the edge. I don't know. I don't expect those crazy sack numbers from Quinnen Williams, but the fact that he's our team leader in sacks, I mean, it just goes to show like what a fantastic defensive tackle he really is. Because we all know he can be an absolute force in the run game. But the fact that he's got those 3.5 sacks and 8 quarterback hits, and he can just eliminate half of an offensive line at any time by taking on a double team. Quinnen Williams is definitely a star of this year for sure. And that brings me to brother Quincy, man. Quincy Williams, 32 total tackles. How about this? 3 forced fumbles for Quincy Williams, man. And then I just put dog after that. I put 32 total tackles, 3 forced fumbles, dog.
Waiver wire.
Because he's a dog. Yeah, waiver wire. And how about this? You told me this the other day. I didn't even realize that he was a 3rd round draft pick. So this guy was a pretty high draft pick. And the fact that Jacksonville let him go, Joe Douglas made a wizard move going to get him. And now the guy's, forcing 3 fumbles in 5 games. He's just, he's playing really good football, and he's electric out there on defense.
That's coaching right there.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And I guess an honorary star of this could definitely be Jeff Ulbrich and Robert Saleh in parentheses after Jeff Ulbrich, because those guys deserve credit for how this defense has been playing. But the 3rd star, CJ Mosley, man, because of all the reasons we listed before, he's the quarterback on defense. He's the anchor. He's the leader, whatever accolade you want to give him. He's that guy on defense, man. And, it just feels so good as a Jet fan to be able to see him out there consistently week after week, playing good football, playing at a high level. And the fact that you mentioned before how after a bad performance in the Atlanta Falcons game, he took accountability and said, yeah, when we play like that, it starts with me. He took the accountability as the leader. He knows he's the leader of this defense. And minus 1 bad game, he's had a fantastic year. And I love what we're seeing from CJ Mosley from a leadership standpoint, as well as his execution on the field. So Quinnen, Quincy, and CJ are my 3 stars of the first 5 games.
Awesome. So my 3 stars happen to be 3 completely different players. Even though all 3 of these guys deserve to be the stars for sure. So it's refreshing. We have 6 stars.
Let's go, man. Let's go.
My 3 stars are these men: Elijah Vera Tucker, Bryce Hall, and John Franklin Myers. So starting off with Elijah Vera Tucker, I'll start off with this. Elijah Vera Tucker graded the highest, not even interior offensive lineman. I should change that. Offensive lineman at week number 5. That's the highest offensive lineman grade this season so far. So AVT, going into the year, we heard the coaching staff say Elijah Vera Tucker might be our best offensive lineman before he even plays a snap as a rookie. That tells you the confidence level in this Jets coaching staff in this kid. And I say kid, even though he's probably like a year younger than me. But like AVT, he's living up to the hype. We gave up capital to get him, so it's refreshing that he's playing this at this level. Because when you draft a player in the first round, especially when you trade up to get him, you really have expectations where, okay, this guy has to be good right out of the gate. And that's exactly what he's doing. He is, the anchor, and he's the biggest reason why the pass protection has been so good. He has not lit up a sack in I think since week 1 or week 2. He's been the best offensive lineman by far in terms of run blocking. There's so many highlights of him walling people, blocking 4 people at once, pulling, the scheme. You can tell he's a perfect fit in this system. I just can't wait to see him next to Mekhi Becton when he gets back, because it's going to be special. And, of course, Tyler Linderbaum from Iowa in the draft, when we draft him in the first round, I'm going to manifest that because that would be insane. But Elijah Vera Tucker, man, he's the best player on offense for us. He is, our first-round pick. Joe Douglas, it's his guy. You saw how excited Joe Douglas was when we got him. He traded up assets to get him. Douglas loves his capital, but this was someone where he gives up capital in order to get him. And you can tell that this is a home run pick, and hopefully he can build on it and just get better and better as the season goes on. Very good sign that he's developing into a guy that's going to be here anchoring that O-line for, the foreseeable future. Next up is Bryce Hall, because he has been, establishing himself as a very good young cornerback in the NFL. He does not have any interceptions yet, but hey, he almost had 2 near picks in the Falcons game this close. He's been just so consistent all year long. You can tell that he is. The one thing that stands out to me about Bryce Hall is his fundamentals, like his technique, like his mechanics is the cornerback position, that man coverage and zone. Whenever the ball is thrown his way, he has really long arms. He gets his hands where it needs to be. His timing is impeccable. I don't think he has any flags yet. I could be wrong. Maybe 1, if that. I haven't seen any pass interference called his way. He has not give up 1 reception in the red zone. He's been locked down. And yes, he has not been going up against a top tier receiving talent yet. He's not lined up against one of the best receivers in the NFL. I think in 2 weeks when we verse the Bengals, that's going to be his biggest test, going up against Jamar Chase. But up until this point, you can only play who's in front of you. And Bryce Hall's done his job, exceeding expectations, really establishing himself as a future piece for this Jets team. I think I can say with confidence that he deserves to be a starter for this team for the future. Maybe he's not the CB1 of the future, but he definitely is deserving to be the cornerback, starting job, and he's on his way to be the CB1 of the future if this trend continues. But I'm not going to give him that yet because there's only been 5 games and there's a lot of play time to be had. But he's a player that's only get better. Year number 2, second-round talent. We all know what happened. Injured his ankle, fell to the 5th round. Jets took a flyer on him, and he's playing just as good as any other player in the league at his age. In terms of Trevon Diggs, he's right there with all the stats outside of the picks. And he's been better than Trevon Diggs in coverage if you take away the picks. Trevon Diggs is obviously front runner for Defensive Player of the Year, but coverage-wise, he's there. And then the last one is definitely John Franklin Myers. He deserved that contract. He already has, 3 sacks in the year. He's been the most consistent defensive lineman, in my opinion. The stunts are there. He's so versatile. He can line up on the outside, line up on the inside. I got to give him the star. The biggest reason is because of the extension that he got. He's so well-deserved. Jack and I both ordered our JFM T-shirts that's going to be coming in soon. He's a guy that is just a perfect Joe Douglas acquisition that we actually paid. Robert Saleh said it best when he got asked about the extension. He said he's the type of people that we want to pay in this organization, and it's going to really, establish a really good in terms of send a message to the rest of the players in this Jets team. Look at John Franklin Myers. Look at the way he works. Look at the way he asserts himself. Look at the way he leads his team. That's the type of players that the Jets organization and the front office are going to pay. And also, if you want to get into the contract, not saying say God forbid something happens and John Franklin Myers an injury or he doesn't pan out. There's a very easy way out of this contract. Not saying I want that to happen, but the contract is structured where it's a lot of money up front, and after year 1 or year 2, there's a lot of money where if we want to move on from him, we don't get a lot of money, hurt. So financially speaking, very good job. We gave him the money now because if we did not extend him now, John Franklin Myers, we waited till the offseason and he played this well throughout the season, we would have to give him Carl Lawson money, 15, maybe 16, 17 per year. Instead, we got him at 13 per year. Very good job from Joe Douglas and the Jets front office from locking him up now instead of waiting until the the offseason, because that's the type of player we need to build this defensive line around. JFM only getting better. So happy he's a Jet for life. So guys, that's really going to conclude this Jets Media Bye-Week segment. Please, if you did not smash that thumbs up button, I greatly appreciate that. We got 40 likes with 80 people watching. So half of you guys liked this, half of you guys did not. If you enjoyed it, smash that like button. We appreciate it. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already. I'm going to be making content throughout the week, previewing the Jets-Patriots game. We're going to be live during the game, of course. There's a lot of things to get into. Hopefully the Jets can come out of here, really establish a rhythm and be competitive and show up to Foxborough like they're an actual NFL football team, right, Jack? So anything you want to say before we end off the stream?
As always, thanks for having me, man. It's always a pleasure. We missed Ali on here next week, but I'm sure he'll be back with us next week. And let's hope for a Jets dub this week and enjoy Monday Night Football. Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, man. Enjoy Monday Night Football. It was a great bye week, a good break, but now we got 10 weeks straight of Jets football. Let's get 5 wins out of those 10 games. I don't know. That just came in my head. I don't know if that's possible, but can it happen?
I don't know.
4 wins? Then we'll finish with 5? No, we're getting 5 wins, finishing with – we're running the table, 10 wins straight. What am I saying? All right, guys.
Well, we have 12 games left, though, right?
12 games left? Oh, yeah.
Damn. Yeah. 12 games left. 12 games straight we have in front of us, man.
All right, so 5 wins. 5
yeah.
wins.
Yeah.
Give me 5 of the 12. Is that too much to ask?
No.
That's a 6-win season.
Maybe.
6-win season. Oh, man, it's too much. All right, guys, we appreciate all the support as always. We love you guys. Jets Nation, Richie and Jack is out. I appreciate that last-minute thumbs down. Whoever did that, I love you.